Work.
Wake up, CJ.
All right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? I see people jumped in the chat, so I cut that joint short. Plus, my headphones are super loud, so that song was like, that was killing me. It was like somebody scratching a chalkboard, man. I gotta turn this joint down in a second, but I'm blind as fuck and I can't figure out how to do it right now. So, shout out to all the AKs that's in the chat, man. Appreciate everybody being back. I got my brother on. You can't see him, but you can hear him. The voice, the one and only Young Maine. He's on here. You know what I mean? I feel it's easier to talk to a living person who actually has some sense than just read the chat. It makes it more interactive.
What's up, AKs?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up, man? Let me know if y'all can hear him okay.
Man, good to be back, man.
Yeah, you sound loud though. Let me see if is he loud to everybody else or is he just loud to me? Let me know that we keep it moving forward. Let me see. Cap artists out there, Talk Your Talk Media. What's up? Cowboys Vet 71. He said, "What's up?" You know what I mean. Everybody out there talking. They talk. Shadiddy X. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Dwayne Brown, Sadiqa. He said, "You loud, man. Try to turn your phone down a little bit, man."
You can hear shit?
That's better. Say something else.
Yo.
Now you loud again. Go down again.
Yeah, mic settings. Let me see.
Where you just had it at, you was right. Like it was cool. Yeah, we just had it out. You was straight. I don't know if I could turn you down myself. Let me see. Edit mic settings. Oh, all right. I got something on this side I could do. All right, here we go. Mic volume. Reduce background noise. Why can't I change this mic volume? Oh, it said automatic. No, I'm gonna turn it down. All right, say something now.
Testing.
Oh yeah, you better. I cut you down. Say it again.
All right, cool. Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, you should be better. All right.
And I took the earbuds out too.
Oh, you way better now. I just turned you down. You cool.
All right, and I turned off the truck.
Yo, Davey.
In 10 minutes, you know why?
No, you could probably turn that joint back on. It's like, but if it get crazy, go ahead, cut the check on. Young man, y'all just gonna have to excuse him. He's a trucker. My brother's a trucker, so he out in the truck. So if you can hear the truck, it's because he's about to freeze to death somewhere. He turned that shit back on. But it's 36 y'all in here. I know why y'all here. Y'all know why I'm here, man. Like McCarthy gone, man. He is definitely gone. So before we dig in and jump into whatever topics Maine about to bring up, and that's the other curveball about this show too. I have no clue what Maine gonna ask me. I just told him come up with topics because I don't watch no TV anyway. So come up with topics, come up with things you want to want me to answer or talk about, whether it's Cowboy centric or whatever, and I'm gonna just jump in. But it's been a good format. We got a couple episodes done, but this is officially episode 1 of this new format. And then we got 2 more that's coming behind this that I'll schedule out for this week. But yeah. With that said, though, I was on Twitter. We talking, and everybody's talking about the fact that Mike McCarthy is gone. Number one, the fact that we blocked Chicago from speaking to him earlier in the week made everybody think that we were going to keep him. I thought maybe they'd keep him because when you look at it, there's no clear-cut replacement for him right now. And without a clear-cut replacement, when you look at it and say, okay, He's a guy that you guys already know. You can expand on what you're already doing with him, and then decide to part ways with him after the next season if you wanted to. Especially after I saw Belichick went and took that UNC job, it's like, who else would you just jump into bed with? And that's going to lead to, other things that I talked about on Twitter. Whoever was on Twitter kind of knows where I'm going with this. And I think if he's on the last live, you probably know too. But either way, McCarthy's gone. I personally look at it this way, right? And I said this before, I'll say it again. If we were to keep him, I would have understood due to the fact that this was an injury-plagued season. I think they fought very hard for a team that was dealing with a lot of their top guys gone throughout the entire year. We lost Slam early. We lost Demo in the middle of the year, lost Dak in the middle of the year. We lost Micah early. We lost D-Law early. Nealon was out. You know what I mean? Kendricks was out a couple games here and there, and we suffered every time he was out because the young guys were learning the defense. So you saw a lot of miscommunications early in the year. Things that we expected got exacerbated due to the fact that we had injuries and guys that you thought you were going to lean on and be able to rely on their mental acuity. They're not there. So now, not only do you got to have a new scheme that you're putting in, you got a bunch of young guys trying to implement it who don't even understand really what your philosophy is fully yet, and why to the play versus just the play. Because knowing the playbook, you already know this, bro. You play football. Maine was like, he ain't gonna tell you, but he was like a crazy quarterback up in Ben Salem when he was coming up, man. Like young Michael Vick, and could play ball too. He used to dribble the ball off his knees and shit. Like, Maine was vicious, but so he knows the quarterback position very well. But you know how it goes, man. When it's it's feast or famine with these guys, man. If you got a team where your team is prepared, or you feel like they have some sort of understanding of the game, they're a little bit quicker, a little faster than everyone else. Whereas if you have guys who know the plays, but they don't really understand the philosophy as to why we're executing this play this way, we might want to just run a play for 1 yard or 5 yards for a reason. You know what I mean? We might be calling a certain play a certain way to set up something else. Whereas, if you don't have an understanding of the playbook and understanding of the philosophy, you're just out there running the play, but you really don't understand where to be and how a team is going to attack you. And we saw that on the field with Zimmer, and we also saw it on the field offensively with McCarthy, right? And I'll let you, throw your thoughts in there before I go into McCarthy a little bit, because I do have my critique of him, right? So I can justify both sides, like I said before. But before I dig into that, you have any thoughts on McCarthy? I know you're an infamous Eagles fan. We're not gonna hold that against you today. So go ahead and
Go
state your piece.
Birds.
No, I see
Go Birds.
you starting off disrespectfully already, bro. I just
Nah,
gave it to
hey,
you.
look,
I just
we
gave it to
representing
you.
the NFC.
No,
Washington representing the
no,
NFC. Like we
ain't
holding
no
it down for
we.
y'all,
Ain't
bro. We
ain't
holding
no
it
we.
down, man.
Ain't no we. I understand. But listen, you got it. Just go ahead.
Now, but
People
as
motherfuckers
far as
start saying we,
McCarthy,
when the motherfuckers bust out and they start saying we a lot and shit. Like when the police pull you over, be like, we officer, we ain't doing shit. This is
we
you,
ain't doing
motherfucker.
shit, huh?
This was you, motherfucker. Go ahead, though. You got it.
But I think we talked plenty of times about culture,
Right.
and I think it was early in the year where Micah came out and the media was, they asked him a question about McCarthy, and he basically showed that McCarthy lost him and the locker room pretty much. I think the writing
That's
was
how you
on the
took that.
wall from that time, where it's
See,
like you can't keep him around. It's a wrap.
I see how you perceived that, how you took that, but it's more so for me. It was coming from who it was coming from really mattered to me, and the fact that it was coming from
Yeah, you're
Parsons.
number one.
No. See, that's not it for me. Like, Parsons is a guy who just says things without thinking. So even though he said that and he might mean it, I don't really look at Parsons as the litmus test on whether or not Mike McCarthy was going to be kept. Because I also heard Dak say, he thought McCarthy deserved a shot when he had and more control. If he was going to be judged, he should be judged accordingly. And I think that is more so the thought process of most of the offense, right? And if you look at the way guys played, but then again, you don't know. They could have been playing for Al Harris. People could be playing for contracts. People also could have been playing
Yeah.
hard for Zim. But you saw this team was fighting down the end, down the stretch, because we could have went bumbo all the way and went for the number one overall pick and just kept losing. But we ended up what 7-9 or something like that. Was it 7-9?
Yeah,
7-10, somewhere in there. 7 and
yeah.
10, I think. Yeah,
I mean,
somewhere in there.
I mean, either way, man, y'all could have finished with a winning record of 1 or 2 games over 500. It wouldn't have mattered because there's a bar. Like there's certain franchises where there's just a bar that to me is unrealistic, and what it does is it breeds like that spoiled slash unrealistic mentality,
Hmm.
which I think Cowboy fans have. And I mean this by no disrespect. And sometimes you touch on it,
Hmm.
where I would say the Yankees, Cowboys, Lakers, like I think the fans are somewhat, they don't appreciate what they do have. And to coach one of those franchises, the pressure is astronomical. And with McCarthy, I don't think he's a bad coach
Hmm.
to this day. And it's hard to determine if somebody's good or bad based off of someone else's performance. McCarthy wasn't out there tackling.
Hmm.
He's not out there dropping balls. He's not out there missing kicks. So it comes down to what I mentioned before, culture.
Right.
What is he really being judged off of? Like, what can you really point at him and be like, hey, McCarthy, you did
Oh,
this
see,
wrong, you did that wrong, you
I'm
did
glad.
this wrong?
I'm
Like,
glad you
what is
asked
it?
that. He's going to be judged off of his decision making, right? So McCarthy has some issues with me. His issue isn't culture. I think that the players play hard. I think that the training room, obviously, the training staff is ass. So a lot of people got injured, every year. But and that's not his fault. So you could say that's not his fault. But certain things that McCarthy does and certain decisions that he makes. Let's just start this year with the backfield, right? I know he didn't get to go pick Dalvin Cook. He didn't go get Zeke. He didn't decide that Rico wasn't going to be the starter. I don't think he decided that. But there were things in certain situations that I look at where, he would, let's say, it would be a obvious Zeke situation where it's like 31, right? You got Rico in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you go Hunter Lipke, or you go CD Lamb reverse instead of, and sometimes those things work. Instead of just, this is what you got Zeke here for, just give it to him on those plays, right? But I guess they
Right.
didn't want to be Captain Obvious. But it was certain things that he would do where it just didn't make much sense. Like he came at, and this is where he hung himself, in my opinion. Just like what's his face? Boy getting roasted right now. Billy Carson hung himself in that debate where he just didn't have any rebuttals. This is where
Right.
Mike McCarthy hung himself because there's certain shit you don't have to say, right? Billy Carson did not have to say he knew that Jesus didn't get crucified in the Sinai Bible, and that was a lie. If that was a lie, you ain't got to say that. You said that on your own, right? Mike
Facts.
McCarthy said that he wanted to run the fucking ball and that Kellen Moore would not, and he blamed it on Kellen Moore, right? Well,
Right.
this year, Kellen Moore's running back led the
Running the
fucking
ball.
league in running, right? And broke it hit 2,000 yards, almost broke the rushing record, right? So I
Makes no
can't say,
sense.
hey, can't say Kellen Moore don't know how to run the ball, and I can't say
Yeah.
Kellen Moore don't want to run the ball. He was doing the shit, right? So now the scope was on Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy was doing more of the same skittish, spotty, inconsistent runs that he was doing when Kellen Moore was here. So I blame that on Mike McCarthy. And when you look back to the Eddie Lacy days, you got to go all the way back to like Ricky Williams to see Mike McCarthy actually run the rock. And I think they got rid of Ricky Williams too when he was with the Saints. So it's like, Mike McCarthy is not the guy that I would say understands run game. He started off as a wide receiver coach back in the day in community college somewhere back in, I think, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know where, but he was a wide receivers coach. He always developed wide receivers in Green Bay. He develops quarterbacks very well. Aaron Brooks had his best years under Mike McCarthy. Favre, even Dak. Dak has looked, I think, better under McCarthy than anyone else. That could be due to his natural evolution, but Mike McCarthy's here, so I got to give him credit for that too. And I give Kellen Moore his credit as well because I think Kellen Moore has a very stressful quarterback, a scheme that's stressful to the quarterback, meaning you have to hold the ball and know how to look guys off and get guys open when you're dealing with Kellen Moore's scheme. So I think that made Dak better as well. But he did have his better years, I think, with Mike McCarthy in regards to the things I'm seeing him doing cerebrally, not statistically, right? But With that, go ahead. What you about to say something?
So let me jump in there for a second. So
Sure,
if we're gonna indict him on some things, right? And I'm
sure.
not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like,
You know, I got to put my glasses on because I'm
is
reading
he
the
a
chat. Go ahead.
coach? Like, what's the over under? Do you think he's gonna get another job ASAP?
Oh, Mike McCarthy.
Or
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. I think Mike McCarthy is a shoe-in for Chicago if Chicago likes the things he's saying. I mean, look at the coaches that are out here right now. Like it's usually a coaching carousel. So it's just like Cam Newton said a couple some years ago when he talked about him being able to play quarterback in the league. Is he top 10, top 15? No. But
no,
can he be better than one of the 32 quarterbacks in the league and play? Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Is Mike
Yeah,
McCarthy top 10 as a coach? I don't think so. I think he's in the middle of the pack somewhere, anywhere from 12 to 20. Mike McCarthy's in there. He's definitely not in the
you
bottom of the
don't.
league. He's not
That's
in the bottom of the
exactly what I
league.
was getting to. That's exactly what I was getting to because let's be honest, yeah, I put him middle of the pack, like for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
He's not the worst coach out there, and he definitely didn't have the worst record. Like you said, dealt
Not
with
at all.
injuries.
To
He's
have
in
the
that
year that he
market.
had this year with the injuries we had, that's a win in my opinion. Like it was a win. And then even certain games, to be honest with you, it could have been better. We were losing certain games like what was that game that Parsons got pissed off on? It was like somebody did some asshole stupid shit. Um I think it was the dude who touched that
Well, you know he's getting blamed for penalties too.
no, some dude touched I think number 27 touched a punt block. We blocked a punt. I think it was against Cincinnati. I think. But we blocked a punt and he touched the ball and we lost that game. We were winning that game. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been
Yeah,
8 wins right there. Then you can probably go back and find another one. We could have had a winning record very easily. There were a couple games that came down to, a few plays and that was it. So with that said, for him to even be in that conversation regardless of his record right now, to be in that conversation is still admirable in my opinion. So I think Mike McCarthy is a good coach. My problem with Mike McCarthy is the playoffs, right? Just like anybody else. When you
that's
when
the
you look at
Cowboys standard.
well, not the standard, it's just to me, it's just common sense. If it wasn't a Cowboy standard, right? When you look around the playoffs every year, last year I came at Quinn for it, but every year there's two things that stand out to me in the playoffs: linebacker play and running back play. Because when your quarterback is struggling, Jalen Hurts did not play very well. He played mid, very mid, right? But you guys won
Facts.
because
100%.
y'all because of your defense, you ran the ball, and you just didn't make any mistakes that would cause you to have to rely on Hurts, right? So
Right.
kudos to you. But that shows that you can win a game with solid defense, ball control, ball safety, and a running game, or at least the threat of a running game. You can win those ugly ass games. Mike McCarthy cannot win those types of games because he will not run the ball. So that's my problem with Mike McCarthy. It's not his regular season acumen. It's in the playoffs. It's like he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. All right, I'm gonna take it to and some those of you who've been married before, right? I've been divorced, right? You'll understand
Mhm.
this, right? After a while in a relationship, right? In the beginning when you meet somebody, you can tell that the intimacy, right? The want to is there. Like you see the eagerness is there, right? And then
Right.
later on in the relationship, it becomes a task or a chore. It's like she's there, but she's just like, I know I got to do it before you get mad. That's how Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy runs the football. It's like I gotta run the football, but it's not because he intends to do it. He wants to do it. He's doing it because he has to do it, and you can tell because he'll just. It's about the decision making when with the runs, the run design, the scheme, and then the rhyme and reason. Like it's just certain times in the season where he'll run the ball. You'll see Rico get off on like 14 yards. Then he'll throw the
Yeah.
ball 3 straight times. One of them will be an interception. He's like, well, if you just kept running the ball, we probably would have just wore this defense out in that drive, and then you could have threw the ball the rest of the game if you felt like it because they'd have been beat to shit. When you look at the Ravens, what they did in that second drive, they ran. I think out of 12 plays, they ran 11 times. Right?
They
The
gonna
Eagles will do it.
smash your face. I
Right.
love it.
McCarthy doesn't do shit like that. It's not an intention. It's not running because I love to run. It's running because I should sprinkle some runs in here, maybe sprinkle some shit in here to kind of set up a pass too or a jet sweep, And I like the jet sweeps. I like the runs to space and the runs to daylight. I like that. But you got to be able to pound the rock sometimes. And it's important because, again, this is a game of attrition. And when you can hurt or tire out the defense because you're imposing your will, when you look at Pittsburgh that likes to hit and nobody wanted no parts of Henry after the second drive, they were arm tackling, including Queen. Queen will smack you. He comes from
Yeah.
Baltimore. He'll smack you. He was arm tackling. TJ Watt got hurt. Hampton got hurt. Everybody was hurt. You know what I mean? So that's what the run game, a good run game can do to you. So when you look at that, even when you look at the Packers game, Josh Jacobs was keeping them in the game just off the ground. He was just rocking. He had a run that looked like a beast mode-esque run in there. And that happens because of one, scheme, but two, will, and then three, attrition. When guys are tired, you can run on them. And so my biggest criticism of Mike McCarthy was his lack of commitment to the run. And I think that Dak and the rest of these guys will benefit when you get a coach in here who understands not only how to scheme up the run a little bit better, but understands the importance of it. Because if you give Dak a Brock Purdy type of scheme where we're going to run the ball and we're really a threat on the ground, with the skills that Dak, and you make it so that Dak does not have to become Superman to win games. I don't think Dak is that guy that can be consistent. He's not Peyton Manning, where it's like, hey, you give it to him, it's 48 seconds on the clock, and every time he's getting down there. You know what I mean? You're getting down to field goal range at least. You know what I mean? It's Peyton Manning one time just threw. I think him and Phillip Rivers was going at it. Phillip Rivers scored in like a minute. Peyton Manning was drinking Gatorade. He threw the Gatorade, went out there, scored again. It's like, and this was like before the half or some shit. And I'm like, they would, and then him and Brady would do that routinely. It's coming down to a field goal, and they're going to get in field goal range within
100%.
the 2-minute drill, right? Dak is like hit or miss with those things. Like, he's not going to do that every time, and I don't need him to, because what he needs is a coach that understands how he plays and puts him in position to do what he does well, but also does what we did in the beginning of his career when everybody loved Dak and I hated him. It was a reason. I could see that he wasn't the guy that was leading us to success. It was Zeke, right? We had a guy on the ground that could destroy you, and then Dak just had to do Dak things. He didn't have to carry the team. He just had to not lose the game and put us in positions to win in the end, right? And that's what he was doing that great. So if we get a coach that's committed to the run, I think Dak can kind of coach himself. He's a coach on the field, and I think that would be the best help for Dak. And that's not a knock on Dak. Like I said to you, I think I said it to you in another video. I don't think Peyton Manning ever played without a top running back. He had no Sean Marino. He had Edgerrin James. He had Marshall Faulk. He had a running back. Drew Brees had Reggie Bush and LaDainian Tomlinson, Deuce McAllister, all types of running back. You know what I'm saying?
It was always a threat.
Yeah, Tom Brady might not have had top running backs all the time, but he had a way of using the running backs, even with his short passing game against that too high look, where he would still kill you with James White and Burkhead, those types of guys. Where so I'm just saying quarterbacks need good running game and a commitment to the run game in order to be successful in the playoffs. In my opinion, that's the only way to do it. And in the end, Mike McCarthy never really mastered that end of it. So that's my criticism of Mike McCarthy. I think his biggest problem was his lack of commitment to the ground game. And that's why I'm okay with him going. If he was going to be handing over some play calling duties to somebody who's going to commit to the run, then I would be okay with him staying even. But, that would be my stipulation on him. As far as him being a good or bad coach, I think he's a good coach. I think everybody who says that, oh, we went 12-5 and that's not enough, and they're mad about it, I think that's just like, that's a crock of shit. Because to me, going 12-5 3 times in a row is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. So I'm not going to diminish that. And even going 7-10 with a injury-laden team is not easy. There's teams out here who, you thought were going to roll over, just steamroll teams. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought so too, man. With the roster you guys had, man, coming into the season, I'm like, man, here we go. Like, we're definitely going to be fighting for 1-2 between the Eagles and Cowboys. I thought 100%. Right. And then again, my respect for McCarthy. Like, those Packer teams weren't no trash teams.
Right.
There was issues with CD, obviously, and Dak. There was issues with McCarthy over there with Aaron Rodgers, who to me, again, he ruined the Jets franchise too, where it's like this prima donna. When I look at a lot of these coaches getting fired, to me, a fireable offense, because then when do you point the finger at HR?
I mean, you
When
always
do you point the finger at HR where you're like, hey, your
welcome
hiring process is trash?
welcome to Dallas, where you always point the finger at the HR. Like HR is always the
because,
fucking problem here. But we
because
know that,
it's like, well, wait a minute. So there's all these coaches that has been problems for the last 30 years, right?
right?
When does the finger turn and be like, all right, maybe it's not the coaching because they work great. All of a sudden he forgot how to coach.
Well,
And I'm not a fan of that when it comes to, I'm one of those players, and I know you too, bro, where you're on the field, like the coach's job is to lead you to water,
right.
but he can't make you drink it. That type of philosophy where it's like
Yeah.
a fireable offense for a coach is 2-minute drill, you fuck up with timeouts. You constantly are going for it on 4th
That's
and 2,
McCarthy for
4th
you.
and 3, knowing
That's
that your
McCarthy for you.
O-line is banged up. Go ahead. What are you saying?
That's McCarthy for you. He does that. You are you describing McCarthy or are you speaking in general?
No, I'm just speaking in general.
Well, you
But I'm
describing
just saying,
McCarthy because these are the
like
things he
when you pull
does,
somebody
right?
into
He
the
does
HR office and you're like,
right.
yo, bro, what are you doing? Or shit, post game conference, playoffs,
Right.
like he's snapping, he's not making sense.
Right.
Those are fireable offense, or he's making the franchise look bad. I just don't agree with. I don't think he's the problem. I'm just come out and say it. I don't think he's a problem. Same way a few
Who?
years ago, I didn't think Zeke was a problem.
Well, a few years
When all
ago.
the Cowboys
Yeah.
fans like, we got to get rid of Zeke. Our answer is, what's the fastback y'all had, man?
Pollard. Everybody.
Pollard. Yeah, Pollard's the guy. He's gonna take us to the next level.
Yeah. Then he
I think you
came
guys
in.
always got Super Bowl teams and good coaching staffs. It's just again that Hollywood, Yankees, Lakers, Cowboys type of and I know I'm snapping right now. A lot of the
No.
comments
You
are like,
right.
oh, what the fuck are you
No,
talking
you
about?
right.
But
Go ahead. I'm
I'm just talking
listening
about from
to you.
the outside looking in,
Right.
y'all are wilding.
I mean, when you name all of the blunders that you can have as a coach, right? Like time management, just mismanaging certain plays. McCarthy is definitely guilty of those things. Like, my biggest issue with him, as I said, was inconsistency. You would see a great scheme early in the season, you're like, damn, that play is crazy. And then you'll never see that shit again for like 3-4 games. And I'm like, well, what happened?
No,
Is
that's
it that
facts.
is it
You're
that
right.
we just weren't in the right situation, or like why did you never do that again? It worked. Why are we not doing this? You know what I'm saying? So McCarthy
Yeah.
was good for that. Like he would give you something that you thought was like I would look at the film and be like, damn, McCarthy can. So he is a good offensive coordinator. I'm not gonna lie. He schemes up some nice plays. The execution is poor, so I don't think he coaches them up on how to execute properly. But the scheme, when you're looking at what they're trying to accomplish, it'll be something like spacing will be off. Like they'll be running triple slants and they'll all be too close to each other to get the rub route that they're looking for. So the like that interception last year in Green Bay in the playoffs, that wasn't a bad scheme. It was bad spacing, right? That made it so that safety could just drive without having to pay attention to his own man. He could drive on another guy when he was really playing man coverage. It was one-on-one. Everybody was one-on-one. He shouldn't have been able to jump another man's route because his guy should have been occupying his space enough to make it so that he had to pay attention to his own assignment. Couldn't do that because of the way, the details weren't really paid attention to. That's Mike McCarthy for you. So he does those things that you're talking about, and it's just always something like can't get right. So I will give that to him. Like I said, if you're looking at me and you saying like who do I want, I said this before. A lot of people agreed. Some people don't like it because of political issues or woke media type shit. But Gruden, I like Gruden because I think we already have, like you said before, a Super Bowl caliber team or at least a playoff caliber team. I don't think you need to blow this team up. You need to tweak it, and you need some players in key roles. I like the Kendricks move. I like the idea of keeping certain guys on defense that are a little older because I think we have a young-minded team that also doesn't know how to succeed or prepare. But to me, I think you bring in a coach that understands that and is going to go get certain guys that are keys at different stages or different levels of the game on both sides of the ball. And I think that person, to me, and a person who actually would have you need a person who has the ear and respect of a guy like Jerry Jones. Because if he don't respect you, he ain't listening to shit you say. And you might not get hired if he don't respect you, but if he does hire you, he gonna shove his arm so far up your ass that you're gonna see what his wedding ring look like. I'm serious. So you're gonna be a puppet. So I think if he doesn't respect the coach that comes in, it's gonna be a problem. Even those young guys, you got those young savants that come in. If a young guy like Kellen Moore becomes the coach, or even that kid from Detroit that everybody likes, I
Oh
forget his
yeah,
name.
yeah. He was a former player.
Yeah,
Player. So
his dad played coach too, I think. But yeah, Ben, whatever his name is. But either one of those guys, right? If you get a young guy like that, then you might as well just say Jerry Jones is the coach. The young offensive coordinator guru that he brings in is really just the figurehead OC, and Jerry Jones would be the coach at that point, right? So you need Ben Johnson, that's him, yeah. But if you get somebody who is like a Gruden, I think he has the respect and he would have the ear and more carte blanche with Jerry Jones than anybody else at this point. Now, I haven't really looked at all the coaching vacancies. A lot of people are screaming, go get a defensive minded coach. But I like the defensive coordinator in Zimmer that we have. I like what he was doing with Parsons. I like what his defense looked like once we had healthy guys out there. So I really don't think you got to touch the defense. And if you go get a defensive minded coach, he's going to do away with he might interfere with some of the things Zimmer does. So if you want a defensive minded coach, you may as well just say, make Zimmer your head coach, which I don't want to do. So I say you go with an offensive minded guy that can help Dak and that can get back to running the ball. And if you do that, again, it goes back to a Gruden. And the reason I like it is because we have guys on the ground, man. I don't know. I think Rico's going to still be here. I like what we have with Hunter Lipke. You remember what Gruden used to do with fucking Mike Allstott, man? Jesus Christ. Like what he would
he
do.
again smash your face in.
Yeah, what he going to do
He
with
would give him the ball. And also, I remember at the time, there was some dangerous backs in the league, but Allstott was fast too. It wasn't like he was some slow,
No, he
powerful.
wasn't slow. Yeah,
He
he
was
run through your
fast.
face. Yeah, he run right through your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Gruden would definitely do well here. When you look at a lot of people saying like Brian Flores, I don't like Brian Flores as the coach here. Like I said, if you're gonna have a 4-3 minded coach come in here, you keep Zimmer unless he's going to come in and be the head coach and say, I'm going to keep Zimmer and they're going to run his scheme. But I don't think Zimmer's the type that's going to let you tweak his scheme. So no to Flores. If you say Rex Ryan, I see who said that? Ty Church said, why don't we go get Rex Ryan? Well, Rex Ryan, I like the 3-4. I said this to you, I think. We talked about the fact that the
3-4 is
3-4.
tough.
Yeah, I love the 3-4 with Micah Parsons because it takes Micah Parsons from a 4 position guy. Like right now, you could put Micah Parsons in the A gap standing up as a middle linebacker, a pseudo middle linebacker. You could put him at defensive end on both sides, and you could put him at 3 tech, right? So he can play about 4 positions, right? Maybe 5. But at in a 3-4, he can literally play everything in the front 7. He's not gonna play nose tackle every play, but you can line him up in the A gap and just say, hey, he stand up here. They're gonna respect his authority standing up in the A gap, even if he's at the nose. So all 7 positions in the front 7 of a 3-4, Micah Parsons can play. So in a 3-4, I think you will see the best of Micah Parsons. So if you're saying, hey, who would make this defense better, especially if we go out and get to do Abdul Carter as well, who would make this defense better in regards to maximizing Micah Parsons? That would be, I think Rex Ryan would be the epitome of that. And I think his personality is something that is good for Dallas and good for Jerry, good for ticket sales. But then you have, like I said, guys like Zimmer, who I think did a good job with him.
So my question to you is, we're playing HR, right? Or we're playing Jerry. Do you want a guy who can, get the guys, pumped up? Like I look at Dan Campbell with the Lions.
Right.
When he talks, you could tell the players will run through a wall for him. They don't got to have the Lions were okay the last few years, but they didn't have any super names, in my opinion, where it's like, yo, that guy is going to take them to the next level or whatever. But some way, somehow, they're always, well, not always, but I mean, these last few games, you could see their dominance. And when he talks, he rallies the troops. So are you the type that wants a player's coach where when he speaks, all the players just rally around him? Or do you want a coach that has a certain scheme? Because now, like how we were talking about the 3-4, my definition, I would say, of a good coach, if I had my perfect definition, would be I don't have to worry about the draft. I don't have to worry about free agency. He comes in and he's like that guy who can he's like that person that does pottery. He can take the wet clay and mold it in a certain way. If he has a bunch of big biscuit offensive linemen, he's going to use them. He's going to run the football down your throat.
Right.
Or if he has a lot of what you would call a Ferraris. What's a receiver you would call a Ferrari?
You got a bunch of Ferraris or Hummers, right?
Ferraris
a Ferrari would be like a Turpin or a Cooks. They're Ferraris. Like
Cooks.
You need a couple of those on the team
to run. Something that would have them succeed, and he's not stuck to a scheme. That's the type of coach I like. But run down for me what you're looking for if you're Jerry.
Well, if you're Jerry or if you're me,
we're gonna pretend you're. I mean, if you're in Jerry's position.
Well,
I like
I do pick coaches based. Like I haven't really been that wrong. I think I've been. I did a breakdown on Zimmer and Rex Ryan last year. No, that's before they talked to Zimmer, and we wound up getting Zimmer. We interviewed Rex Ryan, so it's like I wasn't wrong. I wasn't that far off of where Jerry would be. Because I'm trying to think about, like I said, guys that would fit with Jerry too. Because you notice I don't even bother with guys I don't think that are a cultural fit with Jerry. Meaning super authoritarian type coaches, they're not going to fit with Jerry. Like if you want to run your team your way, don't come here. You know what I'm saying? If you're flexible, meaning you got a personality that knows how to deal with people, like Bill Belichick probably wouldn't do well here, right? Because but he's probably one of the better coaches that was out there last year. But I wasn't screaming Bill Belichick that much. You know what I mean? It's like I would love it, but it's like that would be like my dark horse if all things were equal. But so with that said, the type of coach that can do well, I got like hair something in my throat too. I probably never mind. I can't even say shit about you. Wow, shit almost got wow. Almost said we're god damn. But anyway, if you look at guys like that can fit with a Jerry Jones, right? And if I'm Jerry Jones thinking about what type of guys I'm bringing in here, yes, mentality matters. You got to be able to motivate the players that are here. And with Jerry, you need a coach that can kind of deal with, like you said, he can augment his style to deal with whatever you brought here. Now, the only thing you can't deal with is pussies. See, so if you got a bunch of pussies on your team, it don't matter what kind of motivator you are, they ain't gonna play that hard because they just ain't got it in them. You know what I'm saying? So guys who, if you're drafting guys who love football, and I think that's what the Cowboys have gotten away from, we're drafting traits, physical traits. I think it makes it easier for the scouts to hit home runs when you have a bunch of guys that, hey, you want corners? They're 6'1", 205 pounds. Look at all of our corners. They're 6'1", 6'2"-ish, 205 pound ex-receiver types who can play press man. That's what we've been drafting for like forever. You know what I'm saying? For the last 5, 6, 7 years, right?
Yeah.
So that we're traits guys. When you look at our defensive ends, Nealon, Chauncey, Nealon and Chauncey are like D-Law, twins. You know what I'm saying? Not twins, but you could tell where they were trying to go. They wanted physical. They wanted a physical, edge setting, hard-nosed, two-gapping, versatile defensive end. And they go out and they'll draft those types of guys. When you look at like Steele's undrafted, but he's a lanky, long, athletic tackle, not strong in pass pro, but strong in going forward and run protection. When you look at Guyton, same body type. When you look at Austin Richards, same body type. Like they go for traits, right? But they need to start getting back to guys who love the game of football, because they might not be the physical specimen you're looking for, but when they have it here and they got it here in the heart, you can't really miss with that. So if you get a coach that can deal with that, like can take a guy like that and just make a team out of whatever he has, I think that type of coach would do well here. And that's why I keep saying, with that, you don't want a young guy that has a certain mindset or a certain scheme, because when you got a young guy, you're gonna go to what you know. You know what I'm saying? Young guys do a young guy without the experience is gonna do what he's done in the past that worked for him. You know what I mean? And and
Yeah.
and and that's not a vast thing. He hasn't dealt with failure. He hasn't had the league catch up to his scheme, where none of this shit that you did before works anymore, and you got to innovate. He's still the innovator or the trailblazer, because everything he's doing is fresh and new, right? That's cool. But I like Gruden because of that. I think Gruden's the type of guy that's dealt with so many different types of players. He could just look at a player and say, "Oh, you remind me of, Brooks. I'm going to use you this way, or we're going to run a little bit of this. Can we throw some of these plays in for a player like this, because this might help him?" Right? You know,
Right.
that comes from experience. His AKOYE, right? So I think that like a guy like Gruden would do well here. A guy like Rex Ryan would do well here because of that. I don't want a young. I want a young offensive coordinator, that's innovative, but I don't want a young head coach anymore. I don't want another young head coach. So I don't want a guy that could just be a Jerry puppet that's going to come in here and be that offensive savant that they're looking for. I'd rather that be the OC. But the head coach needs to be an older, experienced, long in the tooth type of guy that can get the respect of this locker room, but also, as you said, galvanize them in a way where they're willing to run through a wall for you. So if I'm Jerry, that's what I'm looking for. And also, if I'm Jerry, I'm looking for the guy that brings some sort of, you know, controversy to a point where I'm selling more tickets, selling more jerseys because he's here as
Uh-oh.
well. McCarthy wasn't
You
that guy. McCarthy is a guy that belonged in Green Bay. He belongs in a Chicago. He belongs in like a Pittsburgh. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
A smaller
Jacksonville.
smaller
Yeah,
city.
he's just a come to work, blue chip, a blue collar. I'm coming with my
Keep his
lunch
head down.
pail. Hey, I speak to your mom. I'm coming to your dad's funeral. He was a great guy, that type of guy. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
not the he's not the he's not the guy that brings flair. A guy like Dion would be good here. You know what I'm saying? A guy like
Man, bro, look, you hit the nail on the head. What you just saying?
yeah. I mean,
And back
I
to what I was saying with the Yankees, the Lakers, the
mhm,
Cowboys, you need that big star power to come here. If
yeah.
Jerry, remember the last time Cowboys, and no shade, last time Cowboys were good, they went out
Mhm,
and brought the hottest college coaches on board. You talk about a guy who took the University of Miami, then you got another
mhm.
guy who came from Oklahoma,
Yeah,
Colorado. Not like that was the formula
yeah,
that worked back in the 90s, where you have a coach who comes from a program that's
yeah,
storied,
yeah,
that's respected, and
yeah.
they
I,
came in
I I
and
agree.
they made some noise.
I agree, but even with that, him and Jimmy had history, you know what I mean? So it still was like he knew what he was dealing. Like that's the way it's the devil you know versus the one you don't. That's the way Jerry thinks. So he's gonna go after a guy that he respects in the league that he like. If he don't respect, he don't care who you are. If he don't respect you or he don't think that you are it to him, it don't matter what your stats or analytics say. If he don't think you're it, or if you haven't impressed him in any kind of way, he don't give a shit what your background is. It's like he got to know what he's getting, and I think Jerry's that type. So he's going to go after somebody that he's familiar with, that he understands, that he thinks can do the job a way that he's accepting or acceptable with. And I'm going to keep saying it. I think it's going to be Gruden, man. Now, if that conversation doesn't pick up, to be honest with you, a lot of people right now saying Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn is he's too much. He's a good defensive coordinator. He's a good coach, but if you were going to do that, you might as well make Al Harris the guy, right? But he's not going to do that because those guys they don't move the needle. That's like bringing what's that dude Campo here or something like that.
Yeah,
Like does
yeah, I
he was
remember him.
our yeah. See, yeah, I remember. It's like
Yeah,
bringing another Jason Garrett type here, like a guy that's like quiet, and then Jerry's coaching the team. I don't want Jerry coaching the team, and I don't think Jerry wants to coach the team. But if you go get you a guy that's quiet, laid back, that's go along to get along type, Jerry gonna run over him, and so that erodes at the respect that the players have. Jerry respects stars. The star respects stars. You know what I mean? So when you bring in a coach that has he didn't like Parcells, but Parcells was a star. That's why Parcells did okay here, even though they didn't get along. Parcells was good enough to coach whatever you brought here, but big enough where and had enough gumption where he's like, I don't give a fuck. He had enough grit, like I don't care if you fire me. I'm gonna say what I want to say. Jerry, you ain't ever see Jerry be calling from the bat phone, and then you'll see Jerry on the sideline. Why you think Jerry on the side? Jerry know how to use a fucking phone. He ain't come to the sideline because the phone wasn't working. He came to the sideline because he saw Parcells flagging that fucking phone off because he said, "Get that phone the fuck out of here. I'm working. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck Jerry. I'll talk to that motherfucker later." Jerry come to the sideline and start trying to scream from there. And then you'll see Parcells, he'll stay his ass over in a different fucking area, like, get the fuck out of here. He ain't trying to hear that shit. So a person like that's not going to get fired for doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said Gruden would be a guy that could get the job done, or a guy that I think could be one of those ones, right? So to me, that's where you go with it. That would be the type that I would think that a Jerry would go after.
I'm reading the comments, and they got some interesting takes, like Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Another big, he said, no, hell
no. No more. Nope. I don't want like this is a new league where you got a lot of young players. You got to learn how to, I guess reach and appeal to the young audience too, to the young players too. But I think offensive coordinator wise, you can go get you a young guy. But when it comes to the head coach, I think you need an older guy that's like that has the respect. So nothing against Freeman, but I'm just looking for a coach that's been around the block. And I think that's what Jerry is going to be looking for. You know what I mean? That's what I think he's going to be looking for, just personally. Some people said Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's a type that Jerry would probably run over, though. You know what I mean? He's cool. He's a good coach. But Jerry will run over Doug Peterson. Like, you need somebody that can put his foot to the ground. Doug Peterson doesn't seem like that guy.
Nah. Yeah, but he does have the Super Bowl with that team. I forgot that team's name that he won the Super Bowl with.
Do you
remember their name?
No,
I think it's Philadelphia.
Where they from? Yeah. Ain't that the one with Nick Foles, right? Nick Foles. Ain't Nick Foles like the best quarterback? Ain't Nick Foles better than Hurts and shit like that? People don't say that, but I say that.
Yeah, man.
No, you know why I say that though? Because I'm like, Nick Foles actually won the fucking Super Bowl. Everybody be talking about like Hurts. It's all about how you win. Do you win? Whether you win or not. So Nick Foles is the ultimate winner over Wentz and Hurts so far because he outplayed Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I think threw for 528 yards in the Super Bowl. So Nick Foles is y'all best quarterback in the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
that's nasty work take. That's a nasty work take, but I'll take it. I'll take
but
it.
That's by y'all argument standards. Y'all be arguing that it's about wins, right? So if it's about wins, he won the biggest game you can win. Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So it's Nick Foles.
It was a lot of luck that year, man. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Oh, see, at least you honest.
Every time the Patriots lost, I gotta be honest, man. It was some weird luck that took place, some crazy trick play, some stick them on the helmet, some crazy, like Tom Brady really is undefeated in the Super Bowl. I don't care what nobody say. That man is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
But
somebody said, go ahead. I'm listening to you. Finish what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, but I think again, I'm gonna go back to coaching. I know at this point we're probably beating a dead horse, but when you run a restaurant, these guys are coming in where the ingredients and all the shit is already in the kitchen. They're just like, hey, go cook.
Right.
It's like, give me some time, man. Give me some time. Let me put my spin on it.
But that's why I said, again, you saying the same thing.
You're hiring a great chef. What's that?
But that's my point. Like, that's why I said the only people that are going to get a long leash, so to speak, is a guy that's been around a while that Jerry respects. The more he respects you, the longer the leash you have. and then you have an opportunity. Even Mike McCarthy, pretty much, he had a long enough leash, but it was like he kind of jumped out the plane with no parachute, so to speak, because you knew that, you know, Mike McCarthy was having 12 and 5 years, and people were still saying, "Is this Mike McCarthy's last year?" I'm like, "Yo, that's kind of crazy." Yo, boy, with 12 and 5 this year, y'all trying to fire him? 12 and 5 again? Y'all trying to
Yeah,
fire him? And so
crazy.
I said, shit.
Only in Dallas though.
The moment
Only
he don't go,
that's that shit I'm talking about. That's that bullshit.
the moment he don't go 12 and 5 and we don't make the playoffs, it's a wrap for him. But here's the thing though, Jerry becomes his own worst enemy with the media, because he'll create narratives or he'll create shitstorms on his own that then turns the tide of his own ticket sales against him, because the fans will start talking shit about a coach because Jerry erodes his authority, right? So
Right.
you're creating the momentum against the guy that you're about to evaluate, and then you're going to evaluate him, but you're not going to take that off of his plate. Like at the end of games, big games, I don't think I've ever seen Robert Kraft. Very rarely have I seen Robert Kraft talk about anything if it wasn't like a setup interview. You don't see Robert Kraft talk about shit. At the end of
Yeah.
game, I would hear from Jerry about the players and personnel packages and the play calls before I hear from Mike McCarthy. I don't never see no shit
That
like
is a
that.
problem.
Nowhere.
That's a big problem.
Nowhere. Jerry be outside the locker room like, we should have run the ball a little more. Like, shut the fuck up. What you talking about? Shut the fuck up. What you doing?
That is a problem.
What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was wild. Hold up, but Dwayne Brown said, hold up. Jerry ain't gonna hire a black coach. Been a fan before Jerry brought the team. He ain't had a black man in charge of nothing. I would agree with that, but I say not any black coach. Jerry ain't about to go hire a black coach just because he's black. It ain't gonna be no DEI hire. You're not gonna have the LA wildfires popping off in Dallas. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen like that. If he hires a black coach, that motherfucker's a cold motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like a Dion, he will hire Dion to coach his team. He will hire Dion. I think Jerry will hire Dion. He fuck with Dion on that level. But Jerry ain't just about to go say, no, he ain't about to just go hire a black guy.
DEI don't even apply to Jerry.
Flores not gonna get the job, buddy. Aaron Glenn, you're not gonna get the job, buddy. It's just not gonna happen. You got to be like somebody Jerry already know he fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? And you are a guy that can bring energy and ticket sales. You got to be a larger than life figure. It's not that you black. It's like you can't think like a lot of. And I guess I could say this, but listen, and this is something else I want to say, man. Y'all be jumping off. As soon as I start talking real, y'all jump off and stop subbing. I don't know if any of the anti-subs is on here, but as soon as I start talking about Travis Hunter the other day and I start talking about racist shit, everybody's like, oh, Gruden's a racist. And they start fucking unfollowing me. Like, y'all can't cancel me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But, either way, what I'll say is when you look at guys like a Dion, right? Jerry is a guy that likes larger than life figures. He wants people that come in here that can move the needle. And a lot of black coaches, because a lot of black people think this way. We think we got to work twice as hard. We got to be humble. And, they want to go along. Some people want to go along to get along because they feel like this is my opportunity. Like if you one of those happy to be here guys, or the stage is big to you type of guys, and you just want the opportunity, it's not going to happen here. He's not going to do it. He's not doing that. But Primetime is not that guy. Primetime will step up to the plate and want to take over, and he don't give a fuck with Jerry talking. You know what I mean? You need a guy like that, or a guy like, honestly, guy like Dez. If Dez was a coach, he don't care. Dez will go sit in the box with Jerry, but be grinding Jerry to fuck up on Twitter right next to Jerry. If you sit right next to him, grinding the Cowboys the fuck up, and like he right there, y'all still chilling. Michael Irvin too. Those type of guys where they're not afraid to voice their opinion. They're gonna be them. You know what I mean? That's the type of guy that Jerry will hire. Other than that, no. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, I agree with you. It would have to be a former player, somebody he's been a colleague or something like that.
Right.
I don't see him hiring. Yeah, and
he's not about to go find him.
I ain't going down there.
Listen. If I had to judge, politics or football by the owners I thought was racist, is like how many of them would really stand out? You know what I mean? In my opinion. And when I say racist, I'm talking about racist by today's standards, where people think like, is this person a good old boy, or is this person an asshole towards anybody, black people, white, whatever. It's a lot of them out here. You think billionaires are nice people? Think again. Like that's like the last thing in their repertoire is they're nice people. They ain't fucking nice. So I'm not
Yeah.
even judging it based off of that. I'm judging it off of like straight shrewd businessman, the way Jerry thinks. And even when you're talking about it from a race standpoint, you got one of the biggest brands in football or in the world right now. So of course he wants somebody leading that team that can bring star power to it. Jerry ain't about to give it to somebody just because it ain't gonna be because of no affirmative action. It's gonna be because you bought that action. So, like I said, prime time will be a guy that he would fuck with. I think. You know what I mean? You got to be successful somewhere, and you got to be. You can't be the Ray Rose types where you just a tough like Tomlin. He wouldn't hire Tomlin, I don't think, because Tomlin gonna try to do
that
what
wouldn't work.
right.
That wouldn't
Tomlin
work
gonna
at
do what the
all.
fuck you want to do, and Jerry gonna do what he want to do, and you ain't gonna win that contest. Like Jerry is gonna get you out of here. So you gotta be a guy that he knows, that he's comfortable with, but also has star power that's going to lend strength to what this organization is about. Like I said, to me, the best candidate
Gruden?
is the best candidate is prime time. But I don't think we'll get prime. So to me, if it's not prime, then it's Gruden. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Gruden is my realistic number one, and prime is my dream pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. But definitely, man, Dwayne Brown, I like that, man. That was definitely
Yeah,
a good
a good
good
point.
topic to bring up. 'Cause
Look at
Deion,
Paul. They go Paul. Look at Mr. Wilson. Paul Wilson. He
hey
said,
Paul, what up, Paul?
"What up,
My
Paul?"
man.
Paul used to live. He's my neighbor for some years. That's my man.
Yeah, we used to all bust it up, man. Yeah, I agree, Paul. McCarthy was a good coach.
He said, I think
Um,
McCarthy wanted more control, but Jerry didn't want to give it. My issue is, who are they going to hire? McCarthy was a good coach. Like I said, for Jerry to let him go, Now this is how I think, right? And this is how it's called, like, I use like deductive reasoning on this shit. For Jerry to let McCarthy go after the year and the criticism that Jerry got this year, where everybody pissed off saying fire the GM, everybody's kind of looking at Jerry like he's a dickhead. You got his own radio host from 105.3 The Fan, even though they say he don't own it, but he own it. He influenced it if he don't own it. Like they're like, he don't own 105.3 The Fan. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Jeffrey
yeah,
Lurie don't own Comcast,
yeah,
but he got influence over there. Keep playing, he'll get you fired, motherfucker. What you
yeah.
talking
Like we were talking about the other day. It's all
about?
BlackRock.
He don't right, right,
Jerry owned it all.
right,
Yeah.
right. So it's like that's gonna happen anyway. So with that said, it's like when you look at the way it's lined up right now, in my opinion, I think that Jerry is gonna go after. I don't know, just me personally. He's gonna go after a coach that allows him to still look good after a year that he had, because he got people criticizing him that never would have before. And it's like, so the spotlight is on him. So for him to fire McCarthy, he got something up his sleeve that's gonna make him look good. Otherwise, you don't fire McCarthy, because then that makes sales even worse next year when you don't play well. If you fire McCarthy and you go get a dud and you bring that motherfucker in here and we look like shit, Jerry money's bad. And so from a business standpoint, Jerry ain't just make that decision. He made it for a reason. He made, in my opinion. Now, if he didn't, then hey, it's really time to pull the plug. I don't know what's up with him.
I wanna also highlight some Chris Cordova said. He said Freeman makes $10 million a year. Forget about him. College, yeah, it's gonna be tough to get these good college coaches now too, man, because that NIL money is going crazy. Like
NIL
Georgia's
money,
quarterback, I was reading Georgia's quarterback is gonna make $4 million this year. Like
that's dope.
pretty soon, these colleges,
I'm about to
the
start
money wouldn't
robbing
even make
these young
sense to
boys.
go to the NFL.
I'm
Huh?
gonna be at college. I'm gonna be at college games, masked up. Like, you ready, man?
Yeah,
I'm about to
yeah, let's go
I'm
get them.
start robbing these young boys.
Yeah.
Hey, young boy.
These kids showing up with Lambos to the game and stuff. So
I know, act like fake valet and shit. Like, hey, young boy, give me them keys and shit. Get the fuck up out of here. Like, keep walking.
yeah, that NIL money is different. But
That
yeah,
is
so
crazy.
it's gonna be hard to get some of these great college coaches.
Yep.
Um,
He said, okay, do you think that is Gruden? Yeah, Chris Cardova. What's up, man? I definitely think Gruden's a guy that got the respect of Jerry, got star power, he has a lot of pluses. Respect of Jerry, star power. You know what I mean? If Jerry is a good old boy, he fits that bill too. He just got in trouble for some good old boy shit. You know what I'm saying? If when it comes to players, he's a Dak asset. He loves Dak, and I think Dak would benefit from his quarterback acumen, just learning the game at that level and at that speed. That helps any player. You'll understand. Everybody on offense will understand the game on a different level. He will run the fucking football. He is a disciplinarian. He is vicious, and he do talk a lot of shit. So do Zimmer. So ain't nobody on this team gonna be playing. And I think Jerry's gonna allow him and Zimmer to kind of control personnel. So not bringing in personnel, but as far as disciplining personnel. So out of it's out of like Gruden, the two guys that I think can do that. Three, Dion can come in here and do that. Gruden can come in here and do that. And Rex Ryan can come in here and do that. The only reason I put Rex Ryan on the asterisk, Rex Ryan knows what he's worth. He's going to want more money. And on top of that, Rex Ryan comes in and he's going to blow this defense up, meaning not the players, but we're going to change the scheme again. So you have more uphill to go dealing with Rex Ryan because of that aspect. And then you still got to figure out who's going to be your offensive coordinator. So Rex Ryan is a two-hire type of guy. You got to hire him and you got to hire an offensive coordinator. If you go get Dion, you still get an offensive coordinator, but I think you get a lot more out of that as far as you get to keep Zimmer, so you get to keep your defense attack. You hired Gruden, you got an offensive coordinator or offensive-minded coach. He might not want to call the plays, but he'll have influence, but he'll also keep Zimmer because he loves that double A gap scheme. So, I think those are my three.
A guy like Rex with this defense would be scary. That's for sure.
Appreciate you, Chris. It's much respected, and no problem with the shout out, man. I'm getting through the comments best I can. He said, Chris, Jerry don't care about past. How many players he giving a second chance to? Oh, that's for sure. You can pop somebody. Jerry still fuck with you. How many coaches do you think Mike walking off with? Huh? That's a good question, King Reezy. I mean, I hope it's not Al Harris. I don't give a fuck who else. You could take Scolari with you. You could take Schottenheimer with you. You can take them both. But leave Al Harris here. I mean, outside of that, and take that whole training staff with you too. Because whatever the fuck they feeding these players, it's like, what the fuck is y'all eating McDonald's? Like, what's going? Everybody hurt, man. That shit crazy. He said, I'm glad Big Mike stood on business. Jerry only wanted to give him another year anyway, probably. Yeah, I would agree. I think Mike McCarthy understands, like, he understands what he's worth on the free market. Like, he's worth more out here right now. Like, people know his background. And then if you're a team like Chicago and you say, hey, man, y'all might not say 12-5 3 times in a row is worth shit, but we think that's pretty damn dope. And going your average years, one of them was COVID. The other one was you full of injuries. Those are only two bad years you had, and those are not even bad years. They were average. I mean, you're middle of the pack. You're not in the bottom of the league. He could have easily went 4 and 14. Was it 4 and 13? 13 and 4. Yeah, he could have went 4 and 13 this year, something like that. And nobody would have been like, hey, you're trash. They wouldn't have did that because they understand, like, yo, the team was hurt. Everybody's hurt.
Yeah, team was hurt. Yeah, and it's not like you said, there was only I think the Browns game, the Eagles game, there was only like a few games that were like out of hand, and they got out of hand towards the end. But yeah, every game was pretty much competitive. And I look at McCarthy, man. McCarthy's like it's like one of them girls, man. Shit, I ain't gonna get into that, bro. I ain't gonna go too far off with that shit, man.
Yeah,
I don't even want to start that shit.
Man.
Like, man, they dropping off the stream.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying, a lot of us ain't gonna turn our nose up. Like the Cowboys, y'all like that pretty model, pretty boy team out there, man. Like we ain't gonna turn our nose up at no supermodel chick that you done ran through already.
Everybody look at us like that. Everybody look at the fans like that. You know what I mean? Everybody look at us like the the softies that's kind of pampered and baby, but it's not that. I think, like I said, Jerry does a lot to harm the reputation of the players, not the brand. Like he's great when it comes to business, but when it comes to the players, I think all the players are under more scrutiny because of Jerry. Like there's no way you can tell me that because players leave here, you be like, damn, they leave here and get Super Bowls, or they leave here and they be coveted players that like, and it's a lot of them. Like I remember Chidobe Awuzie was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Shavarius Ward, I think, got a Super Bowl. I was in one. You got plenty of players that leave here though. Like, and I find them on other teams. They just be balling. That was who was
Mhm.
that? It was a linebacker that used to play for us too. That went over there and played for the Chiefs. Shit during the Jalen Smith era. Forgot what his name was, but he was from Iowa. But anyway, we have players that leave here that you would say is soft. They go somewhere else and they be fucking balling. You know what I mean? DeMarcus Ware on left here got him a Super Bowl too. So it's like players leave here and play well, most of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was Damian. No, not Damian Wilson. Damian Wilson did good too, but that's not even who I was talking about. But it's a bunch of them. So like I said, I don't think the Cowboys players are soft. I think Jerry just makes it seem like it because everybody think they talk about how cushy the locker room is, and like even when Fowler and Armstrong left, they start talking about how it's not a circus in Washington. They just go there and play, And I think there's something to that. So I think Jerry is that extra, that little bit of extra that makes it, Hitchens, that's who it was. But he's that little extra that makes it hard for a player to look as good as he actually is. Like people were talking about trading Micah Parsons. They don't understand how good Micah Parsons
Hey,
led the league in pressures and still had double digit sacks.
crazy,
And I think he missed like 4 games, 5 games, something like that. But
crazy talk, man.
yeah, people tripping. You know what I mean? They said, yes, sir, AKOYE. The training staff got these boys on brittle bone status. I say we also need a Brock Hoffman on defense minus the penalties. Yeah, you need a guy that's like, a lunch pail evil guy on defense too. I think we got that in one of them anyway. Is Carlos Watkins is one of those guys. I like Carlos Watkins. I think he should stay. I think he should stay. Yeah, it was Hitchens, Reezy. You're right. But yeah, I think Carlos
Okay,
Watkins should stay. He should stay.
King Reezy, good stuff, man.
Yeah,
Anthony
good shit,
Hitchens.
man.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, good shit. Anthony Hitchens was a beast. He went to KC and won. You know what I mean?
So,
But but
bro, when you get the new regime coming in, I'm one of those old school guys. What's your take on guys like Micah, your star player? Because years ago we couldn't imagine Tom Brady having a YouTube channel or a social media account
right.
talking about the game and the game plan and having other players from other teams on. If I'm the new coach walking in, all that shit got to fucking go.
Whew.
Ain't no way.
I
Like,
mean,
like, let's be honest. How do you feel about that, bro?
it's hard for me, man, because I'm a content creator, right? So, and I understand, like as a human being, I don't have a problem with it. Why? And as a human being, I'm just telling you, it's a lot of answers to this, so I might seem like a politician on it. But
Yo, you PR
as a
today. I
human,
got you. Yeah,
yeah, as a human, I don't got a problem with it because you can't say out of one side of your mouth, hey, CTE is an issue. Players don't be having the same type of futures as everybody else. They have short careers. Once their career is over, they don't really have anything else to stand on. But then get mad when one builds himself his parachute while he's still playing, right? Okay, so that's a Michael Parsons with his show. I'll give him that, right? I understand the aspect of it. And if he's thinking that way, I kind of understand that, especially if you got the star power, make as much money as you can and build the biggest brands you can while you're playing, if you want to, right? Because Kelsey's doing it. But the difference between Micah Parsons and Kelsey and Micah Parsons and anybody else who has a podcast like Shady McCoy or any of those guys out there that's podcasting right now, most of those
yeah,
guys either went to the Hall of Fame or went to the Super Bowl while playing, like Julian Edelman and Gronk, right?
yeah.
They balled
They
out
did
on the
some
field.
shit.
They wasn't doing it during their career. They did something with their career, and now people want to hear what they have to say. Now,
Facts.
Parsons is doing it young in his career, right? He had it since he hadn't done anything yet other than just be a freak athlete who has a big mouth, right? And I don't mean
Right.
big mouth in any derogatory way. He do talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? So From a fan and from a practicality standpoint, um, again, it's case by case. If you can go out and you balling, and I don't mean just individually balling, I mean you know your assignment and you're making everybody better and you doing your homework and it seemed like y'all on point and you got a show, I wouldn't have a problem with Micah Parsons having a show. I wouldn't. My problem with his show came from when I watch him against guys like San Francisco, teams like San Fran, and they get washed,
Yeah.
or teams like the Packers last year, and he has no stats, that type of shit. If you have no stats, now I can say, hey, they just beat you, they were the better team, but I can also know for a fact that you had more time on your hands to prepare because you was on a fucking show. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't see me on the show.
Yeah.
You had more time. I know you had more time. There's no way you can say you had no more time to
Yeah.
study because you was running your fucking mouth. We watched you do it.
Mhm.
So there's no way you can have that excuse that you prepared with every ounce that you had in you because we watched you not do that, right? So when you come out and drop a dud after that, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Now you'll see me leave this show, right? I don't even play football, but if I feel like I can't dedicate myself to a project that I'm on, whether it's a fight, I'm preparing a fighter, like if I'm preparing a boxer to go risk his life in the ring, and I'm like, and everybody like, what you think about Mike McCarthy getting fired? Who the fuck you think gonna win that? It's gonna be the fighter. I gotta go make
Yeah.
sure. Hey, I can't say that I'm preparing you the best way I can. When I could have been watching film on the fighter that you're fighting, I could have been doing a 2-a-day with you. I could have been doing something else with you that prepares you for what you got to deal with. But instead, I'm on my show, right? You
Yeah,
won't see
sure.
me on my show. If it's a project or something that I have to do, I step away from the show because I know I need to dedicate my all to what I'm about to be doing, and then I'll come back to this, right? So if I'm
My
doing
point
that, right,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
you are a football player, and if your biggest priority is Super Bowls and winning, then I think you should decide not to have the show. It shouldn't be by force. Because if somebody got to force you, that's even worse to me than you not like you having it is one thing, but somebody having to force you. I love this show, but if I sit down for a month or 2 months or I just step away, that hurt me to do it. I don't like doing the shit, right? But I got to do it. If I got to do it, I got to do. If my family or if business or something else just needs my attention, I got to go do that because that's what I don't pay my bills with this shit. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if my wife had to tell me, or if somebody had to pop up on me, be like, hey, Koye, your rent need to be paid. You need to go to work, bro. You had to tell me to do that. That's a problem. That means hey, something wrong. You shouldn't be doing this show then. You got your priorities
Yeah.
mixed up. You know what I'm saying? So if a coach had to come in and tell Micah to stop, then it's already too far gone, and it really is a problem. Micah should step away, I think, and I think the reason he should is because he needs to dedicate himself to his craft. Now, Micah, to me, everybody came at Jesse for saying the things he said about Micah, but I think the last year, after the Packers game, but I think his intentions were good. His intentions was really trying to say, like, listen, man, you are really this good relying off of just physical acumen and talent. You really aren't cerebral in the game yet. And that's because you don't have to be. But if you just decided to get into that groove where you're going to study like a Urlacher or study like a Sean Lee or study like a Ray Lewis, where you understand the game, and then you're going to dedicate yourself to being able to play at a high level in all these positions that you really could play if you wanted to. Like he could physically play corner if you wanted to. So if you get yourself to a point where you understand what everybody else is doing at such a high level that you can kind of anticipate what's about to happen. Like I remember players like Ed Reed, right? Ed Reed, I watched this man
Legend.
run to the middle of the field and turn his hips inside on purpose just to give Peyton Manning a look because he knew once he sees these hips turned in, he gonna throw the ball to the post. He didn't
Yep.
hesitate. He ran to the middle of the field and then turned right around. He never even looked to see if the ball was released. He knew once I turn my hips in, Peyton Manning is gonna throw this ball to the post. He dipped in and then ran straight to the post and intercepted the fucking ball, bro.
That's championship level shit
That's
right there.
studying. You can't do
That's
that if you ain't
championship
study.
level shit right there.
Right. That's study. I don't see Micah Parsons does athletic shit. hustle shit, but never the cerebral shit like that. He's not doing that. So when I talk about him being able to play linebacker, people get upset. But I'm saying like, Demo actually showed me what it looks like. Because Demo is what I say Micah Parsons could be, but better if he actually played linebacker the way he's supposed to. Meaning you start to study, understand your assignment. Demo had 5 sacks. Now, Micah Parsons would do what Demo was doing in the middle of the field, chasing everything down, covering shit, smacking shit, blitzing. Don't know where he is, don't know what he's doing because he's lined up in the middle of the field. But he also would get 10 sacks, 15 sacks doing it. And no other player can do that. Now, maybe Demo can do it if he got a full year. I think Demo could have had a 10-sack season, to be honest with you. He's one of those guys. I won't say he's better than Parsons because I think Parsons, because he's a pass rusher and everything else, he can do way more than Demo. But if you put Parsons full time where Demo is, he would wreck him and Demo side by side would wreck games together. They will wreck games. They will fuck you up. But the only way Micah Parsons can do that is he's able to be a green dot guy that understands what everybody is supposed to be doing. And he doesn't dedicate himself to doing that. That is my problem with him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my problem with him.
Well answered, man. Like that answer.
Yeah, he don't do it. Hold on. I got hold on, let me put my glasses back on. This secret spiritual war is Barcelona, the good guy hidden up. I don't know what you said. He over there. Oh, he talking some crazy shit. I mean, not crazy, but I'm just saying we gotta I thought he was talking about some football shit. I put my glasses on. He talking about Invader Zim type shit. It's crazy. But let's see. If Kellen gets a ring in Philly, Philly says nope. He's ours. Pay him to stay. Yep. I thought Kellen would look bad in Philly, and Kellen actually showed me something. So shout out to Kellen Moore. I got respect for the way he augmented his game to be able to do what they're doing over there in Philly right now. I mean, I've never been a hater. Never. Shout out to Philly. They're doing their thing. More power to you.
Appreciate that, Brody. I appreciate that, man.
I wasn't saying it to you. I'm just saying it in general. You know what I mean? You can ignore that statement. You know, this wasn't for you. Just know that. Hold on. King Reeves, he sent 15. Appreciate it. He said, I just hope we get a coach soon to put his draft together and some continuity. Yeah, that's why I said Jerry wouldn't have let him go if he didn't have a plan. Not this late. There's no way. He would try to ride it out for another year. Now, unless it was Mike McCarthy. He said Stephon Gilmore's playing tonight. Yeah, that's facts. Unless it was Mike McCarthy that messed it up, meaning Jerry was going to bring him back, and Mike McCarthy said, "Fuck you, Jerry," at the last minute, and that's good for you, Mike, if that's what you did. You know what I'm saying? Good for you. Good for you. They said, "True. Unfortunately, we have not. New regime, new theme." Yep. Hold on. Where we at? Everybody. Todd Church. He said, "I think we need to change to the 3-4 defense." Everybody thinks that I'm tripping when I say that, but again, if I had a guy like a Micah Parsons, I keep saying Mike, all these Micahs, Micah Parsons on my team, and I said, okay, what scheme could I run that would drive offenses crazy and that would make him the Troy Polamalu of my team? And when I say Troy Polamalu, I mean a guy where I would scheme 10 guys. I would scheme as if there's only 10 guys on my field. There's only a couple players in the history of football that I've seen you able to do this with. You did it with Roy Williams. Where Roy Williams, they said, hey, you're an instinctive guy. You like to hit shit. We're going to play with 10, and Darren Woodson going to cover some of your coverage responsibilities. You just go hit shit. That's what Roy Williams did. Troy Polamalu. Hey, Dick LeBeau said, hey, you. Now, I said this to you before, and I say it again. Depending on the coach, certain coaches make it so that you can't even do certain shit. Because if Troy Polamalu ended up on a team where he had a stickler coach, where it's like the coach is just he just coaches by his own book. I play double high, 2 high safety, and that's it. And you do what the scheme calls for, and that's it. And then Troy Polamalu is like peeking near the line of scrimmage, jumping over the line, hitting shit. That coach, he coming off the sideline. Coach is like, yo, what the fuck were you doing in the A gap? I just saw something, coach. Get the fuck on the bench, Troy. Troy wouldn't even be Troy. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be no Troy. Yeah. It wouldn't be no Troy because he would sit his ass down.
Yep.
Right.
It could easily be the end of your career that fast.
Right.
When you did something specifically in your extra time studying film, like, yo,
right.
I know that quarterback says kill, kill, kill and taps his head. I know
Right.
he's about to do a quick draw or a quick
Right.
screen.
Right.
I'm gonna, instead of staying too high, I'm gonna come down.
I'm
Some
jumping
coaches
that.
don't like that. Yeah,
Exactly. So when you
they're
got a coach,
control freaks.
you know that coach like there's like the motherfuckers who should have never been a manager and shit. Is like I'm a hall monitor. Like that motherfucker that they give him too much authority too early, and he just too hype about
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
this is my job to
uh,
lose, buddy, not yours. You know what I'm saying? He sit you on the
yeah,
fucking bench. So guy like that couldn't really do it. But I would just say Dick LeBeau and Troy Polamalu was a perfect match because he played defense as if Troy wasn't there. Meaning he called
hmm
zone blitzes and he ran a zone blitzing scheme that required 10 guys to be where they're supposed to be, and then let Troy be the X factor. Zimmer
yeah,
did that with Roy. Let Roy be the X factor. Just do your thing, Roy. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And I think if you did that with Micah Parsons, because he's not a safety, he's a linebacker, it would be 3-4. Because with him in the 3-4, you don't know what the fuck he's doing as an outside linebacker. Even if you had him at 4 tech, right? And he's there at the line of scrimmage standing up over a guard or shading the guard in the inside shoulder of the tackle, right? He's standing right there. That don't mean he's coming forward because he won a
yeah,
7. That don't mean he's that don't mean he's pass rushing or run stopping. That don't mean that's his assignment. He's just there. So if I want to make it so that you don't know what the fuck a guy like Micah Parsons is doing, you run 3-4. You don't know what the fuck he doing on no play, no matter where
yeah,
he's at. If he's standing up at nose, right? You don't that they might be running 4 down linemen. You know what I'm saying? So if he's in at nose tackle, even with his hand in the ground, or just
lightning.
standing, or he's standing up at the nose, you still got 2 tackles on the outside of him, and then 2 outside linebackers outside of that. Technically, he's one of 3 linebackers. So it's like 4-3, or he's playing 3-4. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. If he
Yeah,
stand up, if he's a linebacker, just a middle linebacker in the 3-4, he could be blitzing, he could be bailing, he could be doing anything. If he's outside linebacker, he could be guarding the tight end, he could be blitzing, he could be playing zone in the flat, or he could be shading a receiver up the seam, anything. He could be doing
yeah.
anything. You don't know what he's doing. So
Definitely a headache.
yeah, so if I wanted to confuse the shit out of offenses, yeah, I would run a 3-4. You got a good point with that.
Yeah,
Yep, I
and they
would
give
do
you
it.
something to think about too, man.
Yeah, too
On
much.
the offensive end.
Too much to think about. Let's see what we got out here. He said we need a cornerback. Why do we? Everybody keeps saying we need corners. Why we need corners so bad? We still got Diggs. I think Diggs will be back. I think Carson got a lot of growing pains this year. I think that J. Lou should definitely be back. This was J. Lou's best season. I think J. Lou should be back. Um, if you look at Bland is still Bland. I think we got corners. I think we need to draft one, but not one that's going to come in it. You don't need to draft a corner high, meaning there's no corner that you're going to draft that's going to start over Diggs and Bland or J. Lou, in my opinion. And then Carson is your 4th corner. I don't mind Carson being my 4th corner. So why do we need a corner? You know what I mean? I like what we got right there. So I don't think you need much on this defense. I really don't. I think you need a guy that can come in and use these guys the right way. Gritty Grimes said 3-4 gets pounded. That's why we switch. 3-4 do not listen. The Ravens run a multi defense. They get they look pretty good to me. The Chiefs run some 3-4. They
Pittsburgh
look good to me. Pittsburgh, they look good to me.
back in the
3-4
day.
defenses are defenses that traditionally stop the run very well because you can stop the run out of your base formation. You don't have to crowd the line of scrimmage with your safeties really to stop the run if you have the right guys there. You got a nose tackle that's good for 2. You got 2 defensive ends that are really 3 techs in any other scheme that's good for 1 or 2 on any given down. And then you got outside linebackers that really are dealing with now tight ends. So when you want to frustrate that 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 3-4 is the way you do it without having to bring your safeties down and crowd the line of scrimmage. So that theory that 3-4s get pounded, that's not true. You know what I mean? Maybe here, but even when we had 3-4 here, DeMarcus Ware was getting pounded. Where? Jay Ratliff, they was balling at 3-4 when they was here. So I don't know. Brady James, you know what I mean? Those guys was playing 3-4. They was playing well. Yeah. He said Mozzie and who? You would definitely need another nose tackle. Yeah. But you would take Chauncey and put him at 4 tech. 3-4 defensive end. You could take D-Law if he's here, put him at 3-4 defensive end. You could take Osa and put him at 3-4 defensive end. You would need Carlos Watkins to spell Mozzie at nose tackle, or Linval Joseph, either or, if he stays, or get another young guy that can come in here, that can play behind a Mozzie. But if you're looking at it from that standpoint, like, I think we could easily play 3-4 what we have. So, I mean, and you got Sam Williams that can play both 4 tech and outside linebacker. You got Chauncey that can play 4 tech and outside linebacker. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of flexibility for 3-4. You got Micah that can play any of those 7 positions. You got Demo that can play, any of the 4 linebacker positions that he wants. You can put him on the outside for a couple plays here and there. You got Morris, who I think is just a middle linebacker who will just stay at middle but be great at it. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of flex. I think Nealon's a guy that can play 3-4 outside linebacker and 4 tech. So I think you got a bunch of those guys. Even for Hoko, I think he got hurt, but even for Hoko, if he comes back, he's another guy that can play 3-4 outside linebacker or 4 tech. So it's a lot of those guys on this team. Yep, a lot of those guys on the team. You said the Rams had some second string back run all over them in 3-4 when we ran it. I mean, I'm not saying the 3-4 works for every team in the league. It's not an automatic you good because you got 3-4. But we got the personnel for 3-4.
Yeah, personnel and talent. Yeah,
we got it. All right. He said the problem will be Jerry getting the players needed to run a 3-4. No, brother, we already got them. We already got them. Get with the picture in the program. Need D tackles, safeties that can cover. Need linebackers. Need corners too. Them backups was garbage. Once again, I disagree. But when you got a new scheme, you're gonna get called garbage when certain things don't go your way, and I understand that. So I rock with it. But at the same time, though, I can't say that the backups were garbage because Josh Butler came in at corner. He played very well. All of our backups at safety are good. So Mukwamu came in and he plays okay when he comes in. I think that Marquise Bell, if he didn't get hurt, was definitely a good backup to both Wilson and Hooker. And then my man Wanye Thomas, there's no way you're saying he was trash. So I don't know who you're talking about there. You could say we need more defensive tackles, or we need one more nose tackle to play 3-4. But the safeties and the linebackers, we got linebackers already. So yeah, I don't think those concerns is real, man. I don't. He said for Hoko on the Commanders, damn, he gone. That's crazy. I thought he was still here. He must not clear waivers. I think we need to draft a safety for the future, if not sign a free agent. No, I think you need to let motherfucking Wanye Thomas do what he do, bro. I don't think y'all watched the film on Wanye. And I'm not saying that for no reason, but I got a lot of film for him right now. I'm about to start putting the film out. I just did the last game of the season too, the Washington game. I broke that down, and I'm going to look at probably like 3 more games, but I'm gonna go down the list of players that need to stay and where they need to be on this team. That's what we're about to do. We need a 3-4 coach too, a good one. Y'all already sold on 3-4. I mean, I'm just saying, I was just answering the question. I'm not saying that it's automatically that's what we're doing. Defense started playing pretty decent toward the last half of the season, even with the injuries. That's a fact. That's because they got the scheme. They understand what they're supposed to be doing. Thomas probably would start under the new coach. Facts. Wanye is the best safety that we have on this team. I said it. He could do the things that you like Hooker doing. He could do the things that you like Wilson doing, but he's better than both of them at everything. You know what I'm saying? Wilson can't change directions to save his life. If a tight end is in and out in you, meaning if a tight end is coming and jugging you at the top of a route, he ain't not muscling you up, because you can't muscle Wilson up. But if a tight end is jugging you at the top of routes, you ain't got no dexterity, no flexibility. Now, once Wilson knows where he wants to be, like Wilson is a seek and destroy guy, meaning you blitz him, you tell him exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and he can't improvise. He got to just go for whatever he's going for, and that's it. He's a good player. He will blow you up, but he got to know exactly where he's supposed to be. If it requires him to change direction or carry anybody anywhere, he going to get killed. Y'all saw what Kittles did to him. So, no. And Malik Hooker is cool. I like Malik Hooker, but he has lapses in judgment sometimes. You know what I mean? And I think that if you're looking at a guy that could play single high, play in the box, play man on tight ends, play zone, play slot corner, because he's played slot corner, That's Wanye Thomas is everything that they said, and y'all gonna curse me out for saying it. Everything they said Darren Woodson was doing when he came here, meaning Darren Woodson his first year was playing corner. His first year in his rookie year, he played some corner, he played safety, both safety positions, and was moving around, played special team. That's what Wanye does. Everything that you say he was doing. And guess what? They the same fucking size. 6'3", 220 Wanye is, but run like a fucking deer and will smack your head off. Can play single high and can play in the box. He's bigger than both Hooker and Wilson. Hits very well and can cover the tight end with no problems. So Wanye to me is the best safety on our team. That's it. You think coaching will change? Will actually get? You think coaching change will actually get our guys to show up in big games? I think that's the reason we don't show up in big games. It's preparation is key, man. And when you got, you ask Micah Parsons, you got Bleacher Report on Tuesdays during the playoffs. It's kind of hard to get ready. You know what I mean? I like our linebackers. Just need them to mature. Yeah, I like our linebackers too. I think Demo and Morris are the future. If Zimmer stays, I think Kendricks probably stays, and I like Kendricks a lot too. So those three linebackers is cool. And then if you throw Micah in a rotation there, that's crazy. That's crazy work. But personally, I think that a 3-4 guy would be the best fit. So if we went out and got a 3-4 coach, that's the only way I'm happy that Zimmer leaves. Other than that, leave Zimmer right here. If you're not going to go get a 3-4 coach, you leave Zimmer alone. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, leave Zimmer alone. I like what Zimmer did with Mozzie too. Mozzie started playing like he has some sense this year. Wanye tweeted a nice little thank you to McCarthy for giving him a chance. No, that's a fact. He deserves it. And I think
That's what's up.
Yeah. He said JT, Izzy, and Bell is our safeties. I wouldn't have a problem with that. And then you clear up some cap space with Wilson and Hooker. I think Wilson and Hooker can go, to be honest. I think both of them can go, and I would be fine with it. So y'all can ask some questions, shoot some super chats, whatever y'all want to do. We at the end of it. And man, if you got any more things you want me to cover too, just let me know. We on it. Like I'm ready. So whatever. He said, where do you believe the biggest deficit is on our offense or defense, AKOYE? Biggest deficit schematically in our team is run game. And that's the biggest deficit because you got how like you let's say you had a Mike Tyson trying to fight like Ali, right? You would never find out how great Mike Tyson is because he's running the wrong game plan. He's trying to fight you from the outside and out jab taller guys. He get his ass kicked. You get beat the fuck up, right? You got to get guys to do what they're good at. So when you look at our offensive line, we got tackles that aren't very strong, right? That have issues with inside moves, both of them. Guyton sets. And so I told you they're trait scouting team. Like they scout based off of traits because they all do the same shit. Guyton oversets, and so does Steele. They both overset and get beat inside. Pause. But they do, right? But they both overset. If you want to stop guys from doing that, what you do is you play to their strengths, meaning run the football, allow those guys to hit the guys that are in front of them, tire out the defense, right? Early in games, so that get off ain't the same for that defensive end later on in games when they've been getting hit by a 340-pound guy that's allowed to hit. That's what happened to Steele for everybody saying, what happened to Steele? Steele doesn't get the trap block anymore. He doesn't get to drive on guys anymore. They're asking him just block the man in front of you. That he's not a strength at the point of attack blocker, right? You got to move these guys around. When you look at guys like BB, Hoffman, Zach Martin when he was healthy, TJ Bass, even, you know what I'm saying? All these guys, Tyler Smith, those guys are maulers, meaning you want to let them hit some shit. So our biggest deficit is the fact that we didn't allow those guys to cut loose and just smack people. That's what they should be doing. And when you're not doing that, you would think that our offensive line is worse than it is. We really got to, honestly, we got one of the best offensive lines in the league when it comes to depth.
100%.
We got Tyler Smith. I think he's great. BB, I think he's great. TJ Bass is a starter on anybody else's team. Hoffman is a starter at right guard, I think, on anybody's team. Steele is still okay. You know what I mean? And I think you got to help him a little bit by running the ball his way, but or allowing him to trap. And then I think Guyton is a young guy that you definitely allow him to cut block more. You throw tunnel screens to his side. You allow him to cut block. You run off tackles. You have him pinning and pulling, doing all types of things where you use the legs that these guys have. They're athletic. Awesome Riches is a guy that's athletic that can hit too. So all these guys, right? You got guys that really can maul if you let them fire off the ball, but you play them like they're a zone blocking small offensive line, and you have them drop back and pass pro all day long, and they're taking the shots all day long. So that's like Mike Tyson fighting off his back foot. It don't make a lot of sense. We got a brawler offensive line, but we use them as if they're dainty,
Yeah.
little guys, right? So that's our biggest deficit in by a long shot. Everything gets better. Dak gets better if you let those guys fire off at the ball. He gets sacked less and he can play action. Dak can't even turn his back to the off to the defense because they just hit him because they never believe you when you running the ball. He's like, even if he is running, hit Dak anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah, play action.
Fuck the running back. He ain't going nowhere
Yeah.
anyway. They can't block. Hit Dak. If you get a chance to hit Dak, hit him. You know what I'm saying? Naked boot, cool. Hit Dak. We don't give a fuck what you doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think Dak gets better instantly when you run the ball better. Period. The wide receivers get way better because if you have a loaded box versus a Dak Prescott, Dak gonna kill you. If you have to load the box ever against Dak Prescott, he's gonna murder you. He's gonna murder you. The only things he's ever struggled against is certain coverages. It used to be cover 3 with Seattle. He mastered the cover 3 because Dan Quinn came here and he practiced against it every day. And now, and then after that was Vic Fangio with that too high scheme. He did it with Denver. When Vic was with Denver, he gave us some problems. Then he did it again with Miami. But against Miami, you saw what Dak was able to do last year. He looked a little bit better against that too high look. I think he's learned how to deal with it, right? So Dak knows how to deal with coverages now. But if you made it so that he didn't have to anymore, meaning you got a bunch of loaded boxes, single high safeties or no safeties present because the running game is clicking, he will murder you. So if you ask me what the biggest deficit is, I think that's the biggest deficit is the run game and the commitment to it.
Bro,
hold on, we got Greg Starr. Hold on, Greg Starr, 29 years and counting. I got nothing else to say. Appreciate the content, brother. Appreciate you, Greg. Appreciate you.
Greg,
appreciate
good
you.
Stuff.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
He said, you think we need to change our offensive line coach then? Of course we do. Yeah, we need an offensive line coach that thinks that way. Like you need to see a lot of the stuff that Miami and San Fran is doing, like traps, pins, pulls, you know what I mean? Things that, if you got an offensive line that's good already, that's cool. But if you helping them out by having wide receivers pinning so you can pull and kick out, we don't even do shit like that. But it works against us all the time. Whenever Micah Parsons get out there, they're like, damn, we can't do shit against Micah Parsons. You'll see three wide receivers right next to Micah or right next to D-Law, and you know what they're about to do. As soon as he go upfield, they just gonna step outside him so he can't set the edge, and then that's going to free up those tackles or those guards so they can get out on the edge on the perimeter and get a body on a corner or a safety, and that breaks those big runs. Why don't we do that? Never do that. Never. So it's like we got to start doing some of the things that we see when we're being scouted ourselves. Uncle Bubba knows everything. Said howdy from Texas, boss. What's up, brother? The best player can QB in the league must have a run game. That's a fact.
100%. 100%.
Yep. A lot of the guys on the O-line are young too. They're just gonna get better. That's facts. I think Guyton is gonna be fine. All these guys are gonna get better, and that's 100. That's 100. Let's see what else we got. Anything new? Like I said, any questions y'all got? Fire them away. Otherwise, I'm about to wrap him up. We've been on for an hour and 38, so let me know.
Yeah, bro. I got one question that bothers me a lot that you've seen throughout the years. It's not like a new thing either. It's always that type of wide receiver, man. What is it about the position, man, where you have the TOs, you got the Browns of the world, and then when you brought up Miami, I'm like, yo, the cheetah, he's tripping now. Like these guys, like something goes wrong, they just want out, or they start acting up. Like, what is it about the receiver position? Or they're always outspoken, you know, like they remind. I don't want to say bitch shit.
Yeah, they do whole shit. They do,
but yeah, they're all like, what is it, bro?
They do
Like, does
do whole
that
shit.
bother you?
Yes and no, right? It's like, you know how they say, nature versus nurture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the position itself is the only position where, well, no, running back you probably can get frustrated a little bit too because the offensive line, they have some say in how well you're gonna play. But at least you're gonna touch the ball, right? You're gonna get the rock. Now, can you run behind the bullshit offensive line? Maybe not, but you're gonna get the rock at some point. You're gonna get some touches,
Yeah.
right? Wide receiver, everything, so many factors affect a wide receiver, right? Like, who's your quarterback? Who's the quarterback's offensive line? What position are you in on the depth chart? Who's your offensive coordinator? How much does he want to get you the ball? Get what I'm saying? Is he calling the
Yeah.
right plays in the right situations? Is the quarterback seeing you in the right situation? So you got so many situations where if you are like that's a position where if you are a kind of, if you're not a blue chip prospect that came in and supposed to get the rock, and you kind of a wallflower that stay out the way as a wide receiver, you probably ain't going, a closed mouth ain't gonna get fed. You probably ain't gonna get the rock. You know what I mean? Or even if you do, you're not gonna do as well. Like, you want a receiver that wants the ball. And I think receivers have seen the best receivers. And that's the other thing with the position. Just like with boxing, you see a bunch of people mimicking Floyd Mayweather doing a shoulder roll that probably don't even like me personally. If you see me on my back foot fighting a tall guy trying to shoulder roll, I'm a dumbass. I'm 5'9", 5'10" at best. Why would I be fighting a tall guy who could reach me even when I'm on my back foot shoulder rolling? But you see everybody fighting that style because they grew up watching it. So same thing
Watching
goes for
Floyd.
these right. So same things with the receivers. When you grow up watching AB and people saying your dad trying to teach you the position, you say, "Hey son," you tell BY, "Hey, go watch that guy right there. You see 84? That's how you play the position." Right? And you're
Mm.
watching what he's doing on the sideline. You watching Jamar Chase do the gritty, and now you doing the gritty. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
you doing the gritty, yeah.
You watching Justin Jefferson, watching how these guys perform, and you watch Ocho. You grew up watching Ocho Cinco or T.O. doing sit-ups in the driveway type shit. You think that comes with the position. Like,
With
you
the
watch Michael
position.
Irvin, like Michael Irvin doing woo the cocaine cowboy, you know what I'm saying, stabbing people and shit. You know what I'm saying? So you think it comes with the position. So a lot of players are emulating things that aren't necessarily good for them. But I think that's what the problem is with the wide receiver position. I don't think it's like, receivers are automatically divas. I think part of it is environment, meaning you have to be to kind of, you got to speak up and have a rapport with your quarterback to kind of get the ball. That's half of it. The other half of it is, you some of your favorite players have played that way. Just like a linebacker don't want to be a diva. A linebacker want to be Ray Lewis. They want to be, Mike Sims. They want to
That's a
be
good
guys that,
point. Yeah.
yeah, they want to be evil because that's what they've seen. They want to be Dick Buckets or Patrick Willis types. You know what I'm saying? So because that's what they've watched. You know what I mean? So I think that's it, man. I think that's
So
it.
so because that's what I said, man. Of all the people, I thought Tyreek Hill was like more on the, stick when times get hard, he'll stick it out. And
Ah,
then
nah,
you got,
nah.
yeah, I thought, I was wrong. I was way off. And then you look at guys like Debo. I was like, man, Debo, his name is tough.
Right.
Then you see how he dresses coming
Oh
to the game.
man,
I'm like, man,
these dudes crazy, man, and that's a whole show. That's a whole show talking about how
that's a
these
whole
dudes
nother
dress.
show. Yeah, man.
And
I was just,
that's again, that's another thing that's part of the programming. Why do you think we need to see the players coming in to the locker room? Why do you think they even showed in the first place?
yeah, when did that become a thing? Yeah, it's like,
It's a
why?
thing because, and why do you think they dress like that every day? You think they dress like that every day?
I hope the fuck not. I hope
They
not.
don't.
God,
They don't.
God.
They getting sponsorship deals and probably affiliate deals from some of the designers to wear certain shit. But it's like, why you think they keep putting these big ass Negroes in purses and fucking fishnet shirts and all kinds of weird shit? They don't even look comfortable wearing the shit. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But it's like, yo, dog, like, I listen, I don't care how much money I get, man. It's either gonna be on a credit card or I'm gonna have a knot of fucking money in my pocket. I'm not carrying a purse. And for those of y'all out there that carry purses, no offense, but much offense, don't wear no fucking purses, man. Y'all is crazy. Even if some people put guns in them and be like,
Yeah.
it's tough because you got a gun in your purse. I don't give a fuck. My wife got a gun in her purse. It's still a purse. You know what I'm saying? It's
At
still
the
a
end of the
purse.
day,
Dog.
yeah, it's
I
a
don't give
purse.
a fuck.
Yeah,
It's
still a
still a
purse.
purse.
Goddamn it.
It's still a
Yeah.
purse. I don't give a fuck what you talk about, bro. Stop that shit. So
Yeah.
I don't understand the trends, man. Like it's crazy to me. Like, but people be out there doing it. So it's like I don't. People get money and just start listening to the wrong advice. But I think that there's a lot of influence in that. But what does that influence?
Okay.
It influences the young people who think that fashion is fashion forward now. So now you'll see young people walking down the street in Kensington with purses on and these weird
Oh,
ass
it's a bad look.
weird ass get ups. Like y'all look crazy as fuck, bro. It's fashion is one thing. Like I throw on some designer shit. You know what I mean? I like some
Yeah.
designer. I like dressing up. All that. That's cool. You know what I mean? Fashion is deciding what you look like and saying fuck it. Cool. But if you look like Prince or Michael Jackson walking out the door and you ain't Prince backup singer or Michael Jackson and this ain't Halloween, you tripping, bro.
Problem.
You tripping.
It's a
Like, you
problem.
tripping. You tripping.
But yeah, man,
You said
that's
these
always
dudes
bothered
dress.
me, man. Because
Go ahead.
we
You're
started off
absolutely
as
correct.
coach.
A penny for your soul, shaking my damn head. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Nah, I see. I don't want
He
you.
said. He said, "Man, purse is an oxymoron." That's a fact. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
purse. Go ahead, man.
It's just like how
Like,
we
what happened
started
to
off
your
with the
gun, bro? What happened to your gun, bro? Somebody snatched my purse. He snatched your fucking gun off your shirt. Fucking dummy. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
there's just so much to deal with as a coach, as somebody's coming in trying to change a culture. You got, like you said, the wide receivers. You got these guys wearing purses, pregame dressing up. It's
Yep.
like become a show, man.
I
It's
mean,
become a show.
that's gonna be that forever, man. That's just when you don't control the culture and the culture is impactful. Somebody gonna hijack it if you don't. You know what I mean? If you ain't gonna control your own mind, then just know you gonna be controlled by somebody else. It's just inevitable. Somebody's programming you if you ain't programming you. And that's what it is. They said bring back the fanny packs, but that's what it is. It's gonna be like that, man. So, and every time I see one do it, I look back at it that way. But when you take that to the receivers and how they are as far as them being divas at the position, I think some of it comes from that. Some of it's coming from, the nature of the position. And then the rest of it's coming from the fact that you got a bunch of guys that ain't never did shit but play football since they was little kids. They've been, Pop Warner stars, then they was high school stars, then they was college stars. They've been told yes their whole life. They've been able to do whatever they want. So you got a spoiled ass person on your team. That go for any position. But at receiver, I think it just plays out a little bit more because like I said, it's the culture of the position. Like you're allowed to a little bit more. They want you to be a shit talking kind of like savant type of guy. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Like it's not that many Marvin Harrisons. And see Marvin Harrison and Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, those types. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
about their business.
It ain't or Calvin Johnson's. Those were the best receivers in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And they wasn't no joke. Marvin Harrison from Philly, man. Marvin Harrison, he didn't
100%.
he'd let his gum bust in Philly at his bar and shit. He'll
Yeah.
shoot your ass, but he quiet as fuck. But he'll pop your ass. You know what I'm saying? So
He'll
it's
pull
like
up in the hood. He'll pull up in the hood with a house as a car.
motherfucking Marvin Harrison to be on the
$200,000 car in the hood.
He'll be on the dirty block standing with his back to the street. And you're like, Marvin,
Crazy.
he just stick his head out. He got his head in somebody's window talking like he don't even care. And you're like, oh, Marvin.
Yeah.
He turn around, see who it is, and go back to what he's doing with his back to you. Like that's how he is. So it's like it's just different for everybody. But it's like the position mostly carries those types of guys though. But yeah, man, we about to wrap this joint up, Mano. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody else really asking no questions. I'm like, I wait for everybody to jump off with some
I got one more thing for you, Brody.
Oh,
We talked about this too.
Go ahead.
The kickoff rule, man. We got guys like Devin Hester, guys like Deion Sanders, who we talked about.
Right.
Do you think some of those electrifying records and things like that, you think it'll ever be like we've seen Devin Hester basically take a team to the Super Bowl based off of special teams, kickoffs, returns?
Yeah.
Is that dead? You think that's dead?
No.
With these new kickoff rules?
Nah. Have you seen? I think we won the Washington game, the first one we won, because I don't think we was trying to win that game. I think they was trying to lose it
He's
probably.
trying to throw the game.
but Turpin ran one back. Turpin was balling all year. So when
Yeah,
you see
Turpin is fast. Yeah, I like Turpin.
when you see what a guy like Turpin is doing on special teams, I think special teams still got some shots. And then even with punt returns, you can still, you can still catch them. You can still hit some punt returns on the motherfucker. So I don't think it's over. It's just that special teams is side of a ball where you got to be really special to do well at it, but then you got to be special and that's the only way you special. It's not that many Devin Hesters because a guy that's that good, that athletic, you be like, I'm not letting him catch punts and do kickoffs. I'm gonna put him at corner or wide receiver. But Devin Hester just sucks so bad at his natural positions.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's just so bad at corner and so bad at receiver that he's like, just put him on special teams and see what we can do with him. Yeah, let's just see what's up there because he can't do shit else. You know what I mean? So that was that. You know what I mean? But most guys like a Dez's first touchdown was a punt return. But how many fucking punt returns you gonna let Dez take?
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so the most special players don't play special teams usually. You know what I'm saying? Turpin is an anomaly because he was like the man in I think Canadian football, whatever football league he's playing. He was the man over there. But Turpin is so little that they didn't look at him as a real receiver threat. So they kept putting him like at the bottom of the receiver depth chart. He showed this year that he could actually play receiver. I think you should throw him the ball more. But because they look at him like he was Tavon Austin. He's not Tavon Austin. He can run routes. No. He'll fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? So, but Turp, because he's so small, they didn't want to give him the ball as a receiver. So he wound up being a special player that was overlooked that got to stay on special teams. And that's why he's fucking shit up. But usually your best players, like Steve Smith was a punt returner at first.
Yeah, man. I like Steve.
You know what I'm saying? And he was a beast at it. You know what I'm saying? So, but you ain't gonna stay there that long. You know what I mean? He gonna wind up climbing the depth chart, and then you gonna say, hey, if we paying you number 1 wide receiver money or even number 2 wide receiver money, you ain't receiving no punts, bro. We ain't letting you get blown up on no punts. So that's why, that's why you see that.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, I'm just worried that the because sometimes especially even onside kicks at the end of the game, I was like, what is going on, man? It's just not the same. But I ain't gonna hold you, bro, man. I could talk football forever.
You already know. You already know, Brody. I'm watching the game tonight. That's it. I'm gonna watch the game, chill, probably, finish rehab. My garage door broke. I got too cocky and lifted the joint up and it broke, so I'm waiting for the repairman to come. I mean, if you got some, I'm buying. You know what I mean? I'll take
you already using it, man.
I'll take some right
garage door, bro.
No, I'm just a strong nigga, man. I'm strong for no reason. You know how I am, bro. I'm strong for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Strong. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I got some stories about AKOYE, man. This man he's something special, man.
Appreciate
something special.
You,
He's the only man that I know that will be reading the book, be in the gym, boxing, going and throw a boxing event, got a YouTube channel, be in the hood, will go out, take a walk. Bro, I want to break down everything, but I don't want to sound too crazy.
Yeah,
but do you remember the time? Hey, y'all, it's story time, man. Fuck
go
that.
Ahead,
It's goddamn story time.
Hit me with the story.
I'm going to tell y'all how crazy this man is. We were remember you had to drop off, you had to deposit some cash the one time. Right. And it's the middle of the night, we're in Germantown. And you drive and you pull off to the side.
I don't even remember.
We just got done doing I think we did a YouTube show.
Right.
We did a YouTube show. Then we did you basically was educating me on the Blackstones and the rocks and things like that.
Right.
And then guys, he's the type that'll be a nerd on this side, educate you. Then in the next hour, you in the hood somewhere. And this man is going to the bank in the middle of the night, depositing money. But when I said this man is crazy, remember you pulled to the side, bro. You pulled out the blammy.
No, I don't remember.
And you left it. You left it on the seat, and you was like, "Man, just watch this real quick." And I'm like, this man's about to step out the car in the hood and take some money somewhere with no gun. He's the type, y'all, that'll just be like, hey, man, my hands is all I need. on some crazy Bruce Leroy shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Time we go live, I'm gonna just have the stories lined up for him, bro.
Yeah, you gotta line them up with something. Cause I'll be honest with you, I smoked so much weed for so many years, bro. Like I think who was telling me a story the other day, and I ain't remember none of that shit. I was like, damn, I don't even remember that. Forgot who was telling me. See what I'm saying? I even forgot that. But somebody was just telling me something about me the other day, and I'm like, damn, that sounds like some shit I would do too. But I don't be remembering none of that shit. I don't even remember what you talking about, to be honest with you. I don't remember none of that. I be doing too much shit.
I'm like, yo, you gonna need that, bro. What you doing? Yeah,
He said,
man,
take
but
it
I'm
with
like,
you. Like, nah, I don't need
I
that
think
shit.
at the end of every live, I gotta let your audience know the multi personalities you are, man, that make you who you are, man. Love you to death, Brody.
Man, likewise, bro. I think that'll be fun too, like story
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm gonna have
but on both sides though, because I ain't gonna say what yours is, because your shit crazy too.
No,
like, man, you crazy as hell, man.
No,
I was like,
I'm
when we was in
now,
college, yeah, when we was in college, this boy was crazy. I ain't never seen nobody I never seen you go to class in college, like not one time. Man was a vampire. He slept during the day. And I'm like, yo, how the fuck are you not flunking out? He was like, it's like ABC help me, or 1, 2, 3 help me, or something. He's paying with his credit card to get like term papers done and all types of shit, and would just go to sleep. He wouldn't even go to class, but would pass his classes and just fuck all night. You know, like, all night. I'm like, yo, bro, man, you ever heard of a condom? He was like, I ain't gonna say what you said.
Conspiracy,
you
man.
crazy.
Yeah. All that STD stuff is conspiracy.
You was a crazy motherfucker, bro. I said, man, this is a crazy ass bull, man. You was a funny bull, man.
But,
that's crazy.
Bro,
I was like, I ain't never seen somebody like it, bro. That's wild. He said, peace and blessings, y'all. Prayers for Cal. Oh yeah, that's a crazy thing, man. I don't want to get too messed up. Hold up. She said, I'm just glad he gone. Now watch the fumble by our organization with the next coach. What's up, Miss Jackie? She said, watch us fumble what we should have automatic what should be an automatic thing. I got my glasses on. But before we go, man, like the wildfires, man, without just getting the channel in too much trouble, because I get in trouble for saying crazy shit, but ain't no way you about to tell me that we frozen on the East Coast, they burning on the West Coast, and the way they burning is just like, it's crazy. Like there's no way that's a natural thing. I was at a comedy show over the weekend, and all of the woke crowd is like, now who doesn't believe global warming is real? I said, y'all think this is global warming? Y'all think this is global warming? Y'all is tripping. Like, people will believe anything. Man. Yeah, like that's not global warming, bro. And then it's right before the inauguration at that. And they said the day of the inauguration, January 20th, guess what happens that day? We get like the coldest Arctic front that we've had in 300 years. For 2 weeks, it's gonna be freezing cold into February. I'm like, yo, and then when I say some shit, they're like, well, they can't control the weather, AKOYE. Like, all right, stop it, man. I can't even talk to y'all, man. They don't even.
Yeah, I remember when you first told me. I said, man. Then I just started looking it up and seeing.
Yeah, like, see, Maine. This is why I like Maine. Maine cursed me out because he be thinking I'm wrong. He be thinking I'm just talking shit, and then I'd be like, no, man, like do the math, do the science on it, and then don't believe me and don't not believe me. Just try to prove me wrong. And when you do it, you're gonna do the same shit I do when I try to prove myself wrong. It'd be like, yo, there's some shit to that. So they've definitely been able to, weather modification is like, that's a weapon, man. So when you see automatically, every smart city that they're planning is now a city where natural disasters, there's like, basically crimes that have no criminal, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because you burn all those people's houses down with no insurance, and now you got a reason to rebuild the city, and you don't owe anybody the land that you're rebuilding it on. That's wild shit, man. But hey, man, pray for those people that's over there that's dealing with that. I appreciate everybody that's watching live, man. And man, yeah, let's definitely do this again. I like this format, man. It's like it make it easy for me to talk.
It's always the thing, man. And yeah, we got put together. I'll probably, we got to do some cigar session.
Oh yeah, cigar tree, so
chilling.
Yeah, I just bring some ganja or something. You know what I mean? Put it in the in the motherfucking mortar report or whatever. And you with the chalk. You know how you burn chalk. Sometimes you put weed on the chalk, let the whole joint light up. Man, that'll be good. That'll be dope. But yeah, I talk to y'all, man. I'll talk to y'all.
All right,
we out here. Yep. Peace.